Well, what's up, everybody? If you don't know who I am, my name's Emily Roberts. I am either your diamond upline or sideline, and I've been doing this since July 4th, 2014. Just celebrated 6 years of health and happiness with Plexus. And that kind of just is like freaky. Like, it's crazy to look at my son Sterling because that's where it all started. Like, in the middle of the night, nursing him, freaking out, thinking there's got to be a better way. What am I doing with my life? What do I want to be when I grow up? I was asking myself these questions at 24. I even considered things like being a secret shopper at the grocery store and being a secret food taster at restaurants because I wanted something I could do and take my child with me. And there weren't a lot of options. At the time, we were living in Texas, but stationed in California. And if you live in California, bless you. The West Coast, period, because childcare is so expensive. And putting him in childcare, I've been working for free. I mean, there was really no point. And so all of that terrified me. Moms, do you feel terrified often? Not just because of the world we live in, but just how are we going to make this work? How am I going to afford college? How am I going to afford a wedding? Whatever season of life you're in with your kids. So I am one of those like crazy worrier people, or I used to be. And I would think about things like 20 years in advance, like his college and him getting married and the things that we had to pay for. And Scott's like, babe, I just want him to walk. Like, I don't really know what you're planning for, but we just need him to walk. He's 9 months old. And I'm like, well, this. So I like to think ahead. And I think that is so exciting and important when it comes to business because thinking ahead is what we should always be doing. And I feel like Plexus is always ahead of the game. And if for those of you that have been here for a while, you know that. You know they do everything top notch. They're always 3 or 4 paces ahead. And when they do launch stuff, they do it and they do it full of integrity. Like, I think that's just the best way to put it. All right, you guys, we're going to dive in. I'm going to share a story with you. And I'm really excited about this story because I just randomly found it and it ended up being like the most awesome thing I've ever read. I even read it to my kids and they just imagine what 6-year-old kind of questions they ask. But feel free to utilize the chat while I'm telling the story and what you might think is going to happen versus what you actually find out happens. Okay. So the reason why I love this story so much, real quick, is because it has a lot to do with how I felt in the beginning of my business. And here I have been here for 6 years. Halfway point in my business, I wanted to quit. Yep, even as a diamond, I was done. I was out. I didn't like people anymore. What was I thinking? And this story today just put a smile on my face, and it reminded me of my journey, and maybe you guys will relate to it too, okay? It's called The Group of Frogs. All right. As a group of frogs were traveling through the woods, 2 of them fell into a deep pit. When the other frogs crowded around the pit and saw how deep it was, they told the 2 frogs there was no hope left for them. However, the 2 frogs decided to ignore what the others were saying, and they proceeded to try and jump out of the pit that they were now in. Despite their efforts, the group of frogs at the top of the pit were still saying they should just give up, that they would never make it out of the pit. Eventually, one of the frogs took heed to what the others were saying. He gave up. He fell to the bottom of the pit to his death. The other frog continued to jump as hard as he could. Again, the crowd of frogs yelled at him, just stop the pain, stop the agony, stop embarrassing yourself, just die already. I know it's a little morbid. He jumped even harder and he made it out. When he got out, the other frog said, "Did you not hear us?" And the frog explained to him, or to them, "You guys, I'm deaf. This whole time I thought you were encouraging me to keep jumping." The moral of this story is people's words can have a big effect on others' lives, but they don't have to affect the choices you make for your life. I loved that story. Not that the frog died, that's super sad, but the frog that didn't give up, and this whole time he sees all these people up above him just yelling at him and all the, like, can you just imagine, like, I think of like the olden days, like Rome, you know, like ancient Rome, and like, have y'all ever seen that Pepsi commercial with Pink and Britney Spears and Beyonce and all them, and they're singing that Queen song, and there's all these people and you're yelling? Can you imagine being in the middle of that pit and being deaf and not hearing that crowd yelling or booing or whatever they're doing? You just think they're all yelling for you because you don't know any different. I feel like that's a perspective that I tried on in the beginning of my business and never took it off. Have you ever tried something on in the dressing room and you're just like, I'm never taking this off. Like, I look so good, like your power outfit or your favorite shirt or a comfy robe or a dress, whatever. But you put it on, you're like, I'm gonna sleep in this. Like, I don't want to take it off. That's how I felt about this perspective. Because a perspective is simply a different way to look at something. How many of you used to, because some of you I know used to be this way, always had a victim mindset? The world is out to get me. Everyone's talking badly about me. Everyone hates me. Everyone secretly doesn't like me. Nobody wants me to come to the party, right? Some of us have really crappy mindsets, and it's like you go on the rabbit hole of ugly talk to yourself, right? And this is a quote that I found about perspective. There are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is as though everything around you is a miracle. Oh, I love that. That's by Albert Einstein. Maybe, I don't know, the internet said. So if he did say that, that's great. But it's crazy because I feel like one day I just woke up and I was Chicken Little and the sky was falling and I was a new mom and nursing was hard and my husband was deployed and he was going to die and I was fat and I was miserable and I was relying on Zoloft and all the things. And then God was like, yo, here's your friend Holly. She's taking Plexus and I'm going to slap it all over your Facebook. And that's like something that I hardened my heart to. I was like, ew, I don't want to do that kind of thing. I don't even want to take the product. And so when I did approach Holly, I don't know if she's on or not, but if she is, like, I'll never forget her when my order went through. She immediately, like, you guys, it was creepy how quickly she messaged me and was like, I'm so sorry, I'll get you a refund. Something must be wrong. I was like, okay, here's the thing. So I ordered, but don't you dare tell anybody. And I think it's just because of the vibes I was putting off and the things that I said and the hardened heart was showing outwardly. So I want you to think about this as you're growing your business, as you post on social media, as you have belly-to-belly conversations with others. What perspective are you wearing? Are you wearing old Heather's perspectives or new business owner perspective? Am I wearing, who else is on? Who could I pick on? Alicia. Am I wearing Alicia's old perspective or am I wearing your new? Like, just like I can take these glasses off, what am I seeing differently with glasses on? Like, for those of you that really do wear glasses, things are a little different when you take the glasses off, yeah? Am I right? Yeah. So mine are fake. They're like the blue light ones, so I don't know yet. But I can only imagine if I took my glasses off and put it back on. Like, my mom, she has readers, and she literally, like, can't see her phone. And I feel like that's how we look at our businesses. That's how we look at a potential. That's how we look at a product. We have to try on a different perspective because our life is changing every single day. I mean, and the things around us and things happening to us are changing us every single day. You know, the way that I used to think about weight loss 5 years ago is so different than how I think about weight loss today, because it was about skinny, right? And now it's about health and just being the best freaking mom I can be and not snap, crackle, and popping down the hallway with the older I get, right? So things are different. So I think it's super important, if you think back to the frog story, how that frog the whole time, right? All these other frogs are just yelling down in the pit. And for those of you that are just joining us and you're like, why is she talking about frogs? I told a really cool story about these frogs that fell into a pit, right? How many of you, maybe you're new to business or maybe you are in the pit of life right now? I know the crap in our world doesn't make things easy for a lot of people. A lot of people have been laid off or furloughed and all that stuff. So maybe you reached out to your sponsor because you're in the pit of life. Your health is in despair. And you have all these people whispering you in your ears, or maybe your doctor who's like not really a fan of Plexus, and like all these different people are like yelling at you, right? You have all this noise. But what if we pretended to be deaf like that frog? And it wasn't noise. It was just encouragement. All of it was encouragement, right? I'm not saying to live in la la land because obviously, you know, haters make us famous, but I do think it's really important to try on that perspective of, you know, all these people are telling me not to. You guys, if you didn't know, the man in the other room laying my kids to bed right now turned my cell phone data off. I had to connect to the neighbor's Wi-Fi or walk my butt across our military base to connect to something so I could make a Facebook post, so I could log into the back office, because he hated it that much. And if every morning, you guys, every morning, I was the deaf frog. Every morning I set out his pink drink, I set out his boost, I set out his protein, and I would go and do laundry or whatever. And every morning he would leave it right there. Every morning I would get it out of the bag and set it up for Scott. And I'm like, one day he's just going to love it because it's going to be there and he's going to need it. And la-di-da-da-da, I was in my Plexus la la land, right? And one day it was open and it was in the sink. And I was like, oh, either he shook it up and poured it out, or maybe this guy's taking it. And then I stopped paying attention because I was growing a team and I was a senior gold leader. And I was like, I ain't got to worry about this hater because I got all these people on my team. And I was so excited, right? And I'll never, ever forget, it was right before I went Ruby because we shared a vehicle. That was my only, I didn't know about Hawaii. I didn't even know about Fast Start. I didn't know about any of that. I just knew if you got to Emerald, you got a car, and we needed a car because we shared one and it sucked. And it was not a great, it was on its way to, so he had the car all the time. And I just had the stroller, and I would walk to the park and meet other moms. I would walk, everywhere on base. And I will never, ever, ever forget him going, let's go to dinner tonight. And I got in the car, and on the floorboard, because how many of you throw trash into the passenger side floorboard that you forget about? That guy, there's 14 pink drink packets on the floor. I will never forget that. And what do? You're just like, he's been drinking it the whole time. I was freaking out on the inside, but I can't say that because then he'll stop. So I just looked at him and I said, how does it taste? And he said, what? I said, how does it taste? And he was like, it's not bad. And there you have it, folks. No, I'm just kidding. He still made me swear that I would never say anything. He would never join, all that jazz. Well, 4 months later, we were an Emerald team and he did sign up. So never say never. Be the deaf frog that thinks the whole world is cheering him on. I just love that story, and it's super positive. I want to share another quote with you guys about perspective. And this goes back to the way we talk to ourselves and the way that we think in this business, because it is so easy to try on the perspective of you make a Plexus post and someone else posts after you and their snarky post is to you. How many of you have done that before? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Come on. Right? And you immediately you feel, I don't know how to describe that feeling. If you want, put it in the chat right now, what that feels like, because I don't know how to put it into words. But you post something and you're so proud of it. Maybe it's your results, or maybe it's your new level 1's results, or maybe you just have the best Plexus story ever, or maybe it's just a story about your health or something, a freedom of yours. And then 5 minutes later, Sarah from down the street posts, oh my gosh, these schemes all over my Facebook news feeds are so annoying, right? How does that make you feel? Put it in the chat right now. I'm going to read them out loud. It sucks. Yes, 100%. It makes me feel defeated. I would never do that to someone else, but someone has done it to me recently. Frustrating, irritated, louder. Yes, that's different perspective. So I really like, Kristen, I think it was you that said defeated. Missy, it makes me want to quit. I love that she said defeated, because I really feel like that's a good word to kind of sum it up, because you finally have this victorious thing going and you share it, and then it's like someone just stomps it out, right? You just got the fire going and they're just stepping all over that. And it's a matter of perspective, once again. One, to never take anything seriously on social media, ever. And two, what people say about you is none of your business. It's none of your business, okay? And you have to think about that. It's a weird quote. What people say about you is none of your business. And you're like, of course that's my business. It's about me. But no, sister, it's not. It's none of your business. That's in their mind, their brain, their perspective, okay? And your perspective will either become your prison or your passport. Where are we going? I don't want to be in prison. I don't want to be the frog that dies in the pit. I will jump and jump and jump and jump until I am wherever God is intending for me to be. until I am diamond, until I am healthy, until I am off cholesterol medication, until I am having regular periods, until I have lessened IBS symptoms, I will freaking jump. And I encourage you to do it too, because you can either stay in that prison or it can be your passport to your next destination. All a matter of trying on a different perspective. I hope that is making sense to you, because when I read that, Pastor Stephen Furtick shared that quote, by the way. I wish I could take that, but it was not me. But when I read his quote, I was like, oh my God, that's so good. And it reminds me of so many people that fight this Plexus fight and they get to Emerald. Not that you need a passport to go to Hawaii. You don't, by the way. I get asked every year, but you don't. But you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, pack your bags. You're going to Hawaii. Like, come on. I just loved that quote so much. So I want you in the comments now. So y'all just shared one word of how it makes you feel when someone is tacky. So now how are you going to react when you see that? How are you going to react now when you see that? Are you going to shoot them a message? Are you going to change the way that you post and maybe educate others? Are you going to remove them as a friend? Are they toxic? Like, bye, Felicia, I don't need none of that. Maybe unfollow them. Take a break, I think is what Facebook says now. Like, take a break, and participation trophies are in the same box. That's all I'm going to say. But, you know, what are you going to do with that person? Y'all know what I used to do? Anybody? I don't even know if anybody remembers this. When someone would post something tacky, I would screenshot their message to me asking for a sample. I didn't post their name, but I'd be like, I'm so excited about all my friends asking me for samples. This is so exciting. Even the ones that secretly hate it publicly. Now, I'm not encouraging you guys to do that. But another thing that I would do is I would just message them, and I would just be like, hey, I don't know what's going on with you. Like, how are you? You know, just like, hurt people, right? Like, they think that Facebook is on their side, and at the time, it sure does feel like they have 59 comments and 112 likes in 30 seconds, and you're like, geez, everyone hates Plexus. But it's perspective. Maybe they were a part of something that made them feel like crap, or a person made them feel bad, or maybe they have a bad network marketing taste in their mouth because of something else. It doesn't have to be about you. So what I started doing when people post that, because it happens all the time. I mean, you're going to see it this week, especially now that I brought it up. I comment on it and I put ha 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 ha, because it makes me feel better. And they almost literally 99.99999% of the people that post that either delete the post in its entirety, or they reply to my comment. They're like, but not you. You're amazing. You're an inspiration. And I'm like, that's what I thought. Because it's like they forget for a second that, oh my gosh, people, like, there can be success from this or whatever. And then there's people that have watched me, you know, do all of this with you guys, and they still think I'm a crackpot crazy. So whatever. To each their own. Again, matter of perspective. Obviously, I'm not that crazy. So lastly, I'm going to leave you with this quote. I'm going to post it in all of the chats because we need to all post this as a status tonight. This is a matter of perspective. Are you ready for this? I love this quote so much. Like, it's like tattoo worthy. Maybe we should get a group tattoo. No, I'm just kidding. When you look at a field of dandelions, you either see 100 weeds or 1,000 wishes. Woo-wee. I love that. I love that. I love that because it's true. And it reminds me of like the innocence of children. You know, when they pick weeds in your yard, they come bring them to you and you're like you want to cry. You don't go, ew, that's a weed. You freaking take the weed. And you're like, thank you. It's the best fake flower I've ever received, right? Like, it's the most precious thing. So this week, when someone, you know, puts your light out a little bit, maybe they turn it off entirely. I'm going to tell y'all what Jessica Ruckel says to me all the time, turn your light back on. When someone makes you feel some type of way, you choose how you react. You choose the perspective that you want to try on. It's perspective and like putting yourself in their shoes. They kind of go hand in hand because you don't know why they're reacting that way towards your business. And you can't let that stop you in your tracks. I mean, people like that are pulling you into the pit. Kick them off. right? How many of y'all seen Aladdin, right? He had that gold lamp in his pocket the whole time, and he almost fell into that pit, right? And Jafar was not helping the situation. You know, have y'all seen this movie? Oh my gosh. Okay. And when he gets out, his whole life changes, right? He has like 3 wishes. He could be a prince, but he's also digging himself into this fly hole. So maybe that was a really bad example. But anyways, perspective, right? Plexus is not a field of weeds. You guys represent thousands and thousands of wishes. And if you've never seen a dandelion before, it's the flower with like the white ball, and you blow it and they go out into like a million little pieces. So hopefully that makes this quote way more special to y'all, because some of you are looking at me like, why are you talking about weed, girl? So I just want to clarify, specify a minute. We are not talking about weed. We're talking about dandelions and frogs, all the outdoor things. Okay. So when you look at a field of dandelions, you either see 100 weeds or 1,000 wishes. This week, when you go out into the field of Facebook, the grocery store, whatever, I want you to see 1,000 wishes. I want you to see broken people that want more. I want you to notice people, right? We have all these great systems and things in Plexus, like the send share system and invite system. We have our 3-day challenge coming up. You know, you can be a walking, talking billboard advertisement like Plexus Robot, or you can be Holly with a freaking amazing transformation that posts more pictures of herself. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Holly Chambers. You can be RJ, who trains for marathons, and you're an exhausted mom, but all of us are exhausted moms. Like, if you are not an exhausted mom, you can't sit with us because, or maybe you're just really, really up to par on your Plexus. I don't know. But think about that for a minute. It's a matter of perspective. So think about the person that's coming to look at your stuff, coming to look at your Facebook, coming to watch your Facebook Live. Are you your best self? Are you representing Plexus as your best self? Are you coming to the camera, coming to the post with a broken heart and vulnerability? Again, that perspective matters, because whatever you are putting out into the world, other people that are coming in to look at that, they may not have their passports. Their perspective may be prison. Okay. So you are their ticket to freedom. Like, you're telling them, pack your bags, get your passport, and come to the land of freedoms with your posts. The perspective can change all the time, and it starts with you. If you guys are posting things with lots of words and graphics and recipes or whatever all the time, the algorithms are already just saying like, she's spam. But somebody that does this really well, and I know I've said her name a couple of times tonight, Jessica Ruckel. When you post a picture of your face, or you and your children, or you and your spouse, that's what Facebook wants to see. The Facebook robots like your selfies. And 2, that's what your people want to see, right? I mean, this quote tonight's going to be great. We're not going to post a picture of it. We're going to physically type it. Some of you are going to type with one finger like my mom. I know, that's just how you type things. Some of you are going to get it up in 5 seconds, and we're all going to copy and paste from you, because that's just what we do. But post that as your status. If you want to post it with a selfie, you get extra brownie points. But the reason why I'm saying that is because, again, perspective. Heather, I see your face. I'm going to pick on you. So Heather goes to Google, and she's looking for the dandelion quote, and she finds the first one she sees, and it's a little pixelated. Kind of can't tell if it says smoke weed or field of weeds. Not sure. And I'm like, okay, going with it here. But then I see Jessica. Y'all are right next to each other. Can't help it. Jessica has her blonde hair all curled, and she just types out the quote. Which one are you going to stop and look at? I mean, we might all look at Heather's stuff just to try to figure out what exactly she's trying to get her point across with. But most of us are going to stop for a second because we see our friend that's smiling, and she believes what she's posting. She's not hiding behind a graphic, is what I'm trying to say. Not that you do that, Heather, but it was just, I like to call out your name, so I'm talking to you. Think about that when you post. Stop hiding behind graphics. Stop hiding your beautiful face. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by the Lord Jesus Christ. Post the selfies. For the love of Kim Kardashian, post the selfies, okay? You're allowed to be a selfie connoisseur in my book. One, confidence attracts people. Even if you don't like the way you look, that doesn't mean I don't like the way you look. That doesn't mean your husband don't like the way you look. That doesn't mean your girlfriend doesn't like the way you look. Post the pictures. I made a post about this over the weekend for the 4th of July because someone told me I posted too many pictures of myself, and I said, oh, girl, now I'm gonna post more. You shouldn't have said that. But it's so true. And she's like, well, are you trying to point others to yourself or to the Lord? I'm like, well, I don't have any pictures of Jesus handy. Nobody really knows. So yeah, I'm going to post pictures of myself and talk about them. Is that okay? But again, it's that's just that lady's perspective. She thinks that's just what I'm doing. So just keep that in mind this week as you're sharing, as you're working through objections and rejections. And should I post this or not? Yes, you should always post it. Grow a pair, post it. And if you have a picture ready, do it. Now, for some of you, this is silly, but I'm going to show you guys how to take a selfie. And do not laugh. I know some of you are laughing and some of you are like, are you for real? But I'm very serious because some of you, when you post your pictures, they all look the same. Did you know that you can set your phone, if you have the iPhone, which most of you do, there's a timer on here. So when you put it in selfie mode and you press this little arrow at the top, it brings up, I'm now recording myself. It brings up this little timer and it says 10 seconds, 3 seconds, or off. If you've ever wondered how I got all my children on the floor with me and we're all together taking a really cute picture, it took like lots of Skittles and this self timer. Not kidding. So get creative with your pictures. You don't have to pull stuff from Pinterest and pull stuff from Google. Like, use your children, use your grandchildren, use your pink drink. You know, you can apply filters and presets and all that fun stuff to it after the fact, but use more of your real, true content, not other people's stuff, because that's not fake and that's not spammy and weird. And if that's something you really want help with, ask for help, because there's some great picture takers in this group that will teach you all the things. I mean, if you go back and look at my Instagram from 2015, I'm not sure what I took pictures of. I'm pretty sure I looked like an alcoholic because every time I got on Instagram, I was take a picture of my Smirnoff. I don't even know if that's real alcohol, but that's what I drank. And it looked like I lived at the beach all the time, which I kind of did. But like, evolve, okay? If your business is evolving, you should be evolving. And all your selfies should not be right here in the same spot. And do not, I'm saying this because I love you. I haven't seen anybody do it yet, but do not do this in your bathroom. No more of those. That's like MySpace circa 2002, okay? Post pictures of your face, post pictures of your product, post pictures of your family. And just remember that people will stop to see that smile on your face because they want to know where it came from. They want to know what or who put it there. And they probably want that too, especially right now. And we have a lot of cool stories on this team that we can be sharing. Some of you are just starting and you're thinking I'm crazy and you're like, I don't have a story. I've literally been doing this for 48 hours. Raise your hand if you have a story that someone can borrow. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Some of us have been on these products for 6 years. Use my story, borrow my belief. Lacey's been doing this for like 30 days now, and she already has a story. Her freaking pictures are amazing, or the post with all the inches lost and the pounds, and I think you posted pictures too. There's somebody else that posted pictures. I mean, the stories are there, you guys. And it doesn't have to be a before and after. You can take RJ's profile picture with her and her kiddos and be like, meet RJ, a tired mom who is now training for marathons. Like, you can introduce people the way that you see other professionals introduce people, right? Like, if you're sitting there like wallowing that you have an ugly Facebook and Instagram account and you don't know how to story tell, it's a matter of taking 15 minutes to learn how to use an app and 15 seconds to copy and paste someone's story because you messaged them and said, hey, do you have your story written up real quick that I could share? I just really, really encourage you guys to do that. One, because it totally builds confidence when you do share their story. It makes them feel so good that you want to share their story. And we do. We want to. All right. Last but not least, I think I have one more quote to share with you guys about perspective. No more weed quotes, okay? Okay. Anybody can be diamond, I swear. Dang it, I think I deleted it. Okay. Oh, here it is. Here is what I'm leaving you guys with. If you change the way that you look at things, the things you're constantly looking at change. I'm going to repeat that. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. What have you been looking at in a negative way? It's Monday. Like, negative things happen on Mondays, right? So what can I change to look at it in a different light? For instance, it's kind of like half full versus half empty, right? Who is going for senior silver or gold? Raise your hand. I can see your faces, so you can raise your hand. Okay. Somebody put in the comments how many points you have right now. I know Jessica's like fired up. She's like, oh my God, look at all the people going for gold. She's so excited. I'm going to see, just tell me how many points that you ended at or have. Okay. I don't know who that is because it just says iPhone. All right, Laura. Laura has 15 points. She is on her way to gold, right? So she needs 85 more points. This is how you change. Oh my God, I'm never going to be gold. 85 points? Oh, that's like over 15 people. Gosh, how am I ever going to do this? Or that's only 85 points. I know 15 people. I got 300 people on my friends list. I'm going to go message 50 people every day until I'm gold. Did you see how I changed my perspective? That's literally what I did every single day as I worked my business. It was like a numbers game. Like, yeah, I was helping people and their stories were making me feel good and they were feeling good and they were telling their stories. But most importantly, it was like a matter of like, oh my gosh, we had 30 people join this month. Oh, I had 2 people join this month. Oh, I had this. And it was just a matter of making sure they were being consistent, posting with me, not against me or for me, but like they were just excited to share. And then doing the math of what's next. What do I need next? What comes next? And knowing that you don't have to carry that full load. Duplication and setting up a system so that everyone gets the same welcome email and everyone makes the same post and everyone is welcome to the same team page. All of that will change everything for you. It'll make it simpler and you will see how quickly rank ups happen in your business. So if we change the way we look at things, the things we're looking at will change. I want you to think about that tonight. I want you to think about your next rank up. I want you to think about July and the possibilities. Y'all are going to see a lot of new emeralds across the board for Plexus Worldwide this month because it's the cutoff month for Hawaii. And for those that want to get there and go there, Jessica Ruckle will be emerald this month. So if y'all want to say, go Jessica, go, it's going to be a little stressful, but it's going to be a little fun. Go ahead and cheer for her in the comments. If you are going for a rank up, if you have a win to share, go put it in the chat right now. I want to hear your wins. We want to celebrate you. And then I'm going to take a picture of everybody that's online real fast. So everybody that is, say cheese. Hold on. All right, 1, 2, 3. That's my favorite. I love how all the videos pop on real fast. It's like the best. Okay, it's my birthday month. Everyone ranks up. I'm going for ruby. Heck yes. Going for gold. Go, Jessica. Oh, is Tara still on or did she have to get off? Is she still on? Because I don't see her anymore. Where's Tara? Tara Rockwell, I'm unmuting you for a second. Is that okay? Okay. Unmute yourself.
Correct.
Okay, I want you to share real fast where your points were at, like the OG points, like the double-digit points, and then where you ended at last month.
So, like where my points were in March?
I want you to paint some belief up in here.
Okay. So my original points in, I think it was March, I ended, excuse my children for one. Talking about poop. So
they're in the right place.
My points ended at, I think I was at 89 points.
In March, you were at 89.
In March.
Okay.
In March.
Here.
And I ended June at 686 points.
That makes me want to cry.
I was 13 people away from Senior Ruby last month. And this team is fire. That's all that I can explain it, is that they have caught the vision and they're not stopping, and they are going for it. They are changing their lives, they're changing their families' lives, and everybody on the way.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. You guys, Tara has been on our team for a little while now, and we have multiple group chats where we are just constantly encouraging one another and just trying to figure it out and what are we doing wrong? And it was perspective. It was all perspective. That was the wrong perspective of what were we doing wrong. But really, in reality, we just needed to celebrate and focus on what we were doing right. You guys, since March, Tara has grown by 597 points, and she's going to be Senior Ruby this month because she shifted her perspective of what I'm doing is not working to actually what I'm doing is working. I just need to keep doing that and make a system out of it. And because her confidence has changed, and because her posting has changed, because some of you like freak out when I ask you to post more, but if you go look at Tara's Instagram and Facebook, go look at Jessica's Instagram and Facebook, you will see that it's the same story told 100 different ways, but 100 times in a row. Like literally, they're just, I mean, Jessica and Tara don't have stories that have changed. Plexus is still Plexus and they're still them. It's just how they're telling it and how they remember things, and like things are triggered and remembered, and like, oh, I haven't had a Dr. Pepper in 8 months. Let me talk about that. Let me talk about how many times I would have to drink a Dr. Pepper in a day to not murder my children. Okay. And it's just the way that they reinvent their story. That's what I'm talking about. To not just build your team's belief. That's great. Not just to build your social media audience's belief. No, but your own. To remind yourself that you are capable and you can do it. And I think something else that shifted company-wide was Jesus de Soto. And if you don't know who Jesus is, we're going to have a Zoom call with him next week. He's 23 years old from Mexico, but he lives in Arkansas. He was living in an RV behind their pastor's house, had about $40 in his bank account. He was doing some yard work for Timmy and Jake Yancey, and she saw him and thought he was just adorable. He is. He looks like my Sterling grown up bitch. He's precious. And she was like, hey, what's your story? If you know Timmy Yancey, that's just who she is. And he sat down and he told her, and she said, you need to do Plexus. Do you have family in Mexico? And he was like, yeah, everyone I know is in Mexico. I'm so lonely here. That's why I come to this church. And so she just got to know him. It started with a hello. And they helped him enroll. And you guys, he went Emerald in 35 days. 35 days at 23 years old. And he had nothing to lose. I mean, when you have no money in your bank account and you're on borrowed property and borrowed time and borrowed like living spaces, you have nothing to lose. So I think watching him just do this, whether it was in Mexico or stateside or wherever, I think something shifted in our team, and that's why so many of you have come back. That's why so many of you are here. So many of you see that vision now and you're like, heck yeah, I'm here for it. Like Alicia. Alicia was on our team for a long time and she disappeared for a little bit and now she's back and she's freaking silver, like overnight it feels like. Amanda was a part of Plexus many, many years ago, and now she's back and she's about to be gold, maybe even senior gold. Her team's killing it. And I think sometimes we put like a timeline on our success, and that's not fair because our success doesn't deserve that. We're still successful. We don't have to have a certain title to be successful, and we don't have to have happiness to be successful. I am very successful, and sometimes I'm hungry, and then sometimes I'm mad, and sometimes I'm jealous, and sometimes I'm lazy. That doesn't take away my success. That doesn't take away my belief. So I want you guys to remember that, and I want you to not attach a feeling to that rank up. Feel it, love it, go on to the next one. Because if you associate happiness to every rank up and every little thing in Plexus, the one time Plexus makes you mad, you're never going to be happy about Plexus again. Okay? So let's shift our perspectives this week and cheer each other on, and just like, if Jesus can, why can't I? And just start asking yourself that. Why not me? Why can't I be gold? Why can't I be freaking ruby? There's a girl's video going around, and it's a true story. She had gold points at the end of May. She ranked up gold in May, and she is now diamond. Just let that simmer. 4,400 points over the course of 2.5 months in growth. You don't think a perspective shift in your mind can't change the course of your entire business and life? Think again, my friends. Her name's Tiffany Weaver. Go follow her on Facebook and Instagram. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you. I love you. Thanks for getting on. You have a lot to think about. Have a wonderful night, and I'll post the recording soon.